I asked if I could ring up my parents. My father had a sort of exasperated view of how stupid and what a nuisance I was. But my mother,
Well,
I told them what had happened was the battery had fallen out of the Morgan. And so I think he must probably have bought another one round with him.
Battery.
And I connected the... John Atkin listened to the Morgan when he go tick tock, tick tock. Oh, that's really impressive. But anyway, there it was, ticking quietly. So there I was. And they bought a battery round, I wired it up and drove home. And they gave me a short lecture on how stupid I am.
It sounds a bit like me and Daisy. I do get exasperated. God, Daisy, you want me to take you where? You want me to pick you up from where? No, I'm not really, Dad.
Oh, my father knew I was a slapdash, very, very slapdash.
Well, at least I've become, well, he should accept you for what you are.
Oh. Sorry?
He should have accepted you for what you are and just
he should
be pleased by it.
He is who he was.
Yeah.
He was very... I felt a great disappointment put to him, and not the son he wanted, and he adored Martin, he used to play with him all the time as if it was a pet, a parrot or something. He used to play with him. I kept saying how wonderful Martin, how entertaining and Martin was.
Well, that's fine, because you were a teenager and he was a younger, wasn't he?
It's taken me a lifetime to accept it properly. Susie was my friend at home.
Yeah.
Mrs. Boyd, my mother. Anyway, in the end...
Sorry, Mrs. Boyd was your mother?
Mrs. Boyd was the housekeeper.
I know, but you said your mother... You said Mrs. Boyd and my mother.
Mrs. Boyd and my mother.
Susie and Mrs. Boyd were your friends at home, and your mother?
Sorry?
Susie and Mrs. Boyd were your friends at home.
Well,
And your mother was your friend too?
They looked after me. Sorry?
And you were friendly with your mother? Your mother was... Granny was friendly?
Yes. So she talked to me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was at a school where I felt completely worthless. I couldn't play games meaningfully. Nobody ever picked me for... I was very good at playing soccer to start with. But then at Sherborne I had a best friend, John Fenton, and whenever I had a question about anything, I used to ask to him, and he used to give me a very good an answer that really made me satisfied.
Yeah.
That he knew what real life was about. At school he said to me, a woman's brain is between her legs. Oh. Very interesting. And he lived in Switzerland, a strange boy.
Well, yeah. They don't usually... That's usually the other way around. The man's brain is between his legs.
Sorry?
They usually say a man's brain is between his legs, not the woman's.
He said a woman's brain was.
Well, I guess some women, yeah.
Because his mother had had a series of lovers.
Ah, there you go.
And his father and mother had separated. And I imagine his father said to him,
yes, a woman's brain's
her brain's between her legs. Her thighs. What are her thighs?
Her thigh, yes.
What is it? And in the Sunday nights, all us boys at the boarding school came back to the school. The headmaster read to us, on Sunday night, the Kon-Tiki expedition. But me and I must have had a friend.
John.
We lay down on the floor, all spread round, and in the bookshelves behind him there was a book about sex. So we found it, of course, and read it. Oh, look.
Yeah.
That's what women look like.
Oh, right.
That's how you do it.
Anyway, in the end, John Fenton left to go to Winchester, and my father said, "You are going to Sherborne." I said, at some point,
You'd
I
rather go to
said,
Winchester.
anyway,
yeah, you
long
went,
story.
Yeah.
got there in the end, and at Sherborne, I didn't know. I was surprisingly clever at going up, surprisingly clever at doing what the lessons wanted, the teachers wanted me to do. I was terrified of everybody, including the teachers. And they didn't play soccer at Sherborne, which I loved. I love football. They played rugby. I never heard of it.
Yeah.
Couldn't play it. Physically very weak. All the other boys very strong. Anyway, after the end of the story, I left. I said to my mother, "I've got all my A-levels. I want to go because I don't like it here. What shall I do?" She said, "You can join the Air Force. There's loads of things you can do. Joining the Air Force is one."
Yeah. Well.
All right, did it.
Yeah.
I loved aeroplanes.
Yeah.
They looked after me. The food was lovely in the Air Force. The chips were good. They put you in an aeroplane. They said, "This is how you do this. This is how you fly." I thought, "Oh my God, I'll never do it." Anyway, we flew around the sky.
I'm going to get that fire going. Go on, keep going, Dad. I can hear.
Carry on, Dad.
You flew around the sky. Yeah? Then what did you do?
And they didn't send me to university, the Air Force.
They didn't.
They didn't. Even though I had top A-levels, they didn't send me. So I stayed there. And in class, of course, I knew everything. I knew everything already because I'd done it 3 times at school, years. So they sent me to university, went to university, very unhappy, long story, end of story, met Sally, there she was. And I was very unhappy, but John Fenton's best friend, Murray Smith, they said to Tony Smith, "Richard's very unhappy." She said, "I can see that." She told me to get a girlfriend.
What you need is a girlfriend, see. It's what every young
You got a
man
girlfriend.
needs.
Anyway.
Almost.
So there I was, and that was the beginning of my story.
Did you propose to Sally then? Did you ask John for, "Can I have your daughter's hand in marriage"? Do you remember?
Sally, actually, more or less, everybody shagged Sally. All the boys
They
shagged
did,
Sally.
didn't they?
She was very happy with
Getting
that.
shagged by boys.
I thought, oh,
Fair enough. Okay.
I'll never match up with them.
No, that's what I would have thought.
But,
You did? Huh?
well, she took me home, and the home was full of ticking clocks,
Oh, yeah.
dark,
Yes, it was.
and a little Fiat 500 Topolino. She drove me Oh. And
She fancied you, didn't
well, we used to shag each other.
she? Well, yeah,
and
naturally.
Tisha had already had Bubbles and Quentin and was very trendy. And Sally, Robin was.
They were up at art
Just
school,
as-
weren't they?
Sorry.
They were all at art school. Were they at art school?
They all wanted to go to art. Anyway,
That's right, go on. Well, Tisha had Robin and Sally had you.
Robin, I said, look, what is this, Sally? What's she about? He said, every party there is, she's bursting into tears, doesn't have a boyfriend,
Who's Sally?
Sally.
Yeah.
And she shagged all the boys already. Nobody wants her because she's already shagged them. Anyway, I stayed. In the end, I know, I left for 3 years of extreme unhappiness. But in the end, I went back. They said, you need a girlfriend. Oh, I remember Sally. She
You gotta
accepted
find
me. So I went to find Sally and found her.
her. At Downton.
Yes. And then at West Lodge, she became pregnant with Christopher.
What, Christopher?
Oh, what?
So I stayed a lot of the time at. Sally had already had an abortion with the son of a well-known architect, Basil Spence.
Right.
I
didn't
thought,
know.
ooh, this is life.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, the long story that decided to keep Christopher, not have an abortion.
Yeah.
Had Christopher, Sally married because she thought there's Richard married and she got it. Anyway, you know the rest of the long
That's all. I
story.
didn't know. Did you get married after Christopher was born then?
Pardon?
You and Mum got married before Christopher was born? Or after? Do you know, Chris?
Yes, I know.
Sally was pregnant. My mother said to me,
You better
you are
make
only marrying Sally because she is pregnant. And my father said, no, he's not. And I knew that I wasn't. And so
So you got married?
we got married. She had us lovely new clothes made for her. And John Fenton was my best man. It was a family wedding at West Lodge. And my mother said, this will never last.
Well,
And
that's what mothers are like.
Martin got married. There's a good marriage, she said.
And you went to
Anyway,
typical.
my grandmother said to me, East Sheen
Yeah.
is practically a slum,
Bloody hell, it's not anymore.
and he's getting married. He's getting married in the back streets.
That's, well, I don't know. I guess she must have been living.
Sorry?
Where was your grandmother living at that time?
In a great big house in Worcestershire.
Okay.
Very county, my mother.
Well, East Sheen wasn't was it a slum at that time?
Sorry?
East Sheen was never a slum, was it? East Sheen.
Christopher.
East Sheen. It wasn't a slum. Was it a slum at that time? Or she was just saying that's a bit. It's a bit on. It's a bit in the suburbs.
I think my mother's hated my father because she thought he was after her money, which is perfectly true. He was. He wanted it.
Well,
He wanted all that money. And so.
And your mother, your grandmother thought that, or granny thought
No, his grandmother. Is this Granny's?
Granny, that is
Granny's
Granny,
grandmother.
my mother's mother.
that?
Not Exie.
Your granny.
Not Exie, which was your dad's.
No. Nothing like that happened by then. Anyway,
Was Exie still alive then?
Granny.
Exie.
No, she died in 1926. I think.
Oh, Z? No, Z. Oh, yeah, I know. I've seen Z.
Exie.
The mother of Christopher, the four. Christopher.
Sorry?
Mother
Yes.
of your father.
Yeah. She was known as Exie.
No, just called Z. It's pronounced Z,
No, it's pronounced Exie.
isn't it, Dad? What was your father's mother's name?
Actually,
No, it was Z, wasn't it? Exie, yes.
Alexandra.
Alexandra. Okay. Exie. Okay.
It's a bit strange, Exie, but that's what
Huh?
they called her Exie.
Okay.
Because-
Exie.
Lewis Carroll took lots of photos of her as a child.
because
Yes, I know. I knew that.
There's a
somewhere.
book.
Alexandra,
In Booth.
she was named after something to do with
Queen Alexandra.
Queen Alexandra of Netherlands or something.
Okay. Z. No, Exie.
Her godmother,
Whose godmother?
Exie's godmother, was the Queen.
Yes.
The Queen had lots of godchildren.
The actual
Probably.
Queen, King George's wife,
Was it?
Queen.
Yeah, no, I've read something about Z or Exie. She married to a
She married Arthur.
man, was it?
No, she married Arthur.
Arthur.
Well,
Civil servant.
Arthur's family was the family of the Dean of Durham.
Yeah, the Dean.
No, Exie's family was. Exie's family was from the Dean. She was the daughter of the Dean of Durham. Right?
Not
Actually,
Windsor.
was
Exie was the daughter of the Dean of Durham. Arthur was a civil servant in London. Lived in Wimbledon.
Was he? Oh, we're back.
You all right, Ed?
Yes.
so we find that there's such must be a nice cushion, Haydon.
Yeah, no, I'm okay, Dad. Just gonna stretch a minute.
Anyway, that's as much.
That was your granny.
The
said
army,
your marriage was only because you were
my
pregnant.
father. It was wartime.
That was before that. That was when you were a kid.
He was at Westminster School, a scholar, very clever boy, and a real soccer star, physical star, and
That's like me then.
everything else. Blah, blah, blah. And he thought of himself as a star.
Who, your dad?
My father did,
Yeah.
but actually nobody else.
Nobody else realised it.
And
Did nobody else recognise that fact?
pardon?
Nobody else recognised the fact that he was a
Well,
star.
he had his friends,
Yeah.
and
He was captain of
his
the
best
football team.
friend said to me, "Your father was very well built physically when he was a boy, and we at Westminster School all worshipped him more or less.
Yeah, I get well. He was the captain of the team, I think.
This real star. Actually, you can look him up on the Westminster School magazine.
I thought you were
It
saying
talks about
Wikipedia.
Cardew, this, Cardew, that.
Yeah.
He was highly respected, but in the end, they didn't make him. They didn't make him the head of the school or anything.
Okay.
He joined the army because it suddenly war erupted.
There goes the phone.
Hello. Christopher. So, who is it? Darren, hello. How are you, all right? Have you?